When rivers flood and fields turn to dust, people move. It's always been that way. Migration is older than history itself. But what happens when climate change redraws the map of a whole nation? In this episode of Earthspective, we trace the future of India through its moving people, those leaving the fragile edges, and those building new lives inland. At the mouth of the Ganges, the land itself feels alive, shifting, breathing, sinking. The Sundarbans are a maze of mangroves, home to tigers, fishermen, and families who live at the mercy of tides. Here, the ocean is no longer a neighbor, it's a visitor that never leaves. Cyclones are stronger, salt water seeps into wells, and each year, more islands disappear under gray waves. Yet even as the sea wins ground, people quietly rebuild on higher soil, moving toward Kolkata or deeper inland. They don't see themselves as victims, but travelers within their own country, carrying their homes in memory and mud. Further north, the rivers come from the sky. When the monsoon breaks over the Himalayas, the plains of Bihar and Assam transform into temporary seas. Entire districts become archipelagos overnight. Boats replace buses. Schools shift onto stilts. It's a cycle as predictable as it is devastating. Some families stay because the soil is rich, but many are learning to move. To the cities, to the plateaus, to anywhere that isn't underwater half the year. Migration here isn't an escape, it's a rhythm, a way to keep living when the river keeps changing its mind. Across Rajasthan, Gujarat, and the dry heart of Maharashtra, the story flips. Here, it's not too much water, it's too little. Fields crack under the sun, wells turn to dust, and cattle wander along empty canals. For generations, farmers here have waited for clouds that never come. As groundwater vanishes, migration becomes inheritance. Sons follow fathers to the cities for work, and the villages grow quieter each year. But there's quiet dignity in it too. These are people who don't break easily. They've learned how to wait and how to start again. Telangana, northern Karnataka, parts of Madhya Pradesh. This is India's dry middle, a patchwork of resilience. The monsoon used to be clockwork. Now it's roulette. When it fails, entire harvests vanish overnight. Yet this is also where India's newest infrastructure rises. Highways, solar farms, data centers. Some see escape in technology, others in migration. But in every direction, you find adaptation. Farmers testing new crops. Villages pooling water through old stepwells. The Deccan has always been hard country, and hard country shapes strong people. Down south, water has become political currency. The Kaveri River once tied Tamil Nadu's cities and farmlands together. Now, it divides them. Chennai's thirst is legendary, so is its ingenuity. Desalination plants, rainwater harvesting, and smart city projects have kept the metropolis alive through dry years. Still, the smaller towns further inland, Tiruchirappalli, Erode, struggle as reservoirs dry earlier each summer. Their people drift toward the coast or northward toward work. For many, climate migration doesn't look like disaster. It looks like a job in a cooler city, a rented room, a different sky. The journey has already begun. If you're finding this journey insightful, take a second to like this video. It really helps Earthspective reach more curious minds. And if you want to keep exploring how people adapt to a changing planet, subscribe. We travel where the headlines don't. Let's look at where all these journeys might lead. The story doesn't end with leaving, it continues in the places built to begin again. Now, turn north. The mountains rise like a promise. The foothills of the Himalayas, Dehradun, Shimla, Nainital, once tourist getaways, may soon become safe havens. Here, water runs clear and temperatures stay gentle even in the hottest years. But the terrain is fragile. It can't hold endless crowds. Still, new communities are growing. Retirees, remote workers, families who traded city noise for mountain air. If India's plains become harder to live in, these hills could become the country's breathing space, its cool, green lungs. In Meghalaya, it rains more than almost anywhere on Earth. In Arunachal, rivers cut through forests that look untouched. For decades, the region was isolated by distance and politics. Now, new roads and trade routes are turning it into India's eastern frontier. Its climate is one of abundance. Too much rain sometimes, but rarely too little. Crops thrive, forests absorb carbon, and people live close to the rhythm of the monsoon. As the rest of India dries, the Northeast could become the quiet success story, a reminder that resilience can be built into the landscape itself. Running down India's west, the Western Ghats catch the monsoon and feed half the subcontinent. Their forests hold the last reliable rain, and their highlands, from Goa to Kerala, remain some of the most stable ecosystems in Asia. People from hotter inland districts are already drifting toward these cooler, greener edges. Towns like Chikmagalur and Wayanad are changing fast, part refuge, part reinvention. Here, nature feels protective, not punishing. It's easy to imagine more people seeking that kind of peace in the decades ahead. Inland India is no longer just farmland. Bengaluru, Pune, Hyderabad, cities built on elevated plateaus, are becoming magnets for climate migrants. They sit above sea level, away from cyclone zones, with tech economies that attract millions. The challenge is space, traffic, housing, water. But they're learning, building smart grids, recycling every drop, planting roofs. These aren't just safe zones. They're symbols of what adaptation can look like when a nation leans into innovation instead of fear. Not every refuge needs to be green and scenic. Some just need to work. Inland cities like Indore, Nagpur, and Raipur are quietly positioning themselves as the next wave of livable India. Connected, affordable, and less exposed to extremes. They're far from the glamour of Mumbai or Delhi, but that's the point. When climate change rewrites opportunity, smaller cities may carry the future. They're proving that resilience isn't only about nature. It's about infrastructure, governance, and the courage to build steadily rather than fast. If the 21st century is a story of rising seas and shifting skies, then India's chapter might be about movement, but also about strength. 1 billion people spread across every kind of landscape: desert, mountain, forest, coast. means the country holds both its problems and its solutions. When floods come, people climb. When droughts hit, they move toward rain. When cities grow too crowded, others rise inland. It's not chaos, it's adaptation, the same force that shaped India for thousands of years. Migration isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of motion, of life responding to change. And if any nation can turn that motion into resilience, it's India. Vast enough, diverse enough, and determined enough to keep reinventing itself. In the end, the map won't just show where people went. It'll show what they built when they got there. This was Earthspective. If you found this journey worth it, leave a like, share it with someone curious about the future, and subscribe for the next story from a changing planet.